A warm welcome to another edition of Diplomatic Channel. I'm Amarachi Ubani. It's been days now since Americans elected Donald Trump as their next president, and there have been worldwide reactions. Here in Nigeria, analysts are urging the government to focus on fixing its own problems without depending on America for solution. Around the world, however, the national and organizational leaders know there could be a slight shift in their relations with the United States. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says regarding war in the Middle East, he and the incoming U.S. president already see eye to eye on the issue of Iran, and both agree the country poses a dangerous threat. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he spoke with Donald Trump after his election victory. They both agreed to maintain close dialogue and advance their cooperation, and that strong and unwavering U.S. leadership is vital for the world and for a just peace. He, however, says he's not aware of any details of the president-elect's plan to end the Ukraine war quickly. He's also convinced a rapid end would entail major concessions for Kyiv. The Russian president, on the other hand, eventually congratulated Trump on his victory, praised him for showing courage when a gunman tried to assassinate him, and said Moscow is ready to dialogue with the Republican president-elect. We'll be looking at the global reactions in a bit, but also coming up on the program. Around the same time of the U.S. presidential election, the UK Foreign Minister David Lammy made a visit to Nigeria, meeting with President Bola Tinubu and the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. We have an exclusive with the Foreign Minister later. Plus, speaking of the UK, its charitable organization, the British Council, marked 80 years in Nigeria. It held a celebration at its office on Thompson Avenue in Lagos. That's Diplomatic Channel in a wrap. Let's make a quick check on other discussions in diplomatic circles, and we'll be right back.
Nigerian President Bola Tinubu is in Saudi Arabia, where he is attending the Joint Arab Islamic Summit. The summit is being held at the invitation of King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and follows last year's summit, also in Riyadh. This year's meeting will focus on the conflict in the Middle East. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission has congratulated Nigerians and have won elections into various elective positions in the United States and Australia, applauding them for breaking such records in the political arena of their different places of residence and setting standards. The Nigerians are Dr. Oye Uwelewa of the District of Columbia in the United States, Chiaka Barry of Janindera District in Australia, Segun Adeyina of Georgia, the United States, and Yemi Mobolade of Colorado Springs, also in the United States. NIDCOM Chairman and CEO Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa commended their relentless efforts and strive for success, urging them to keep up the resilience as they carry out their responsibilities respectively.
Welcome back. The newly elected President of the United States, Donald Trump, has accepted President Joe Biden's invitation to the White House and to work with the transition team to ensure a smooth transition of government on January 20. The president-elect has also been busy choosing members of his administration and made history by picking the first female White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. Wiles, a veteran political strategist, has been a crucial force behind Trump's campaign successes, particularly in Florida, and her new role places her at the heart of Trump's new administration. In the meantime, the rest of the world has begun adjusting their expectations of the incoming administration. Many world leaders say they're willing to work with Trump and look forward to strengthening ties with the United States.
בימים האחרונים אני שוחחתי 3 פעמים עם הנשיא הנבחר דונלד טראמפ.
Beginning with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who says he has spoken with President-elect Donald Trump 3 times over the past few days, aimed at tightening the strong alliance between Israel and the United States. According to him, both see eye to eye on the Iranian threat and all its components and the danger posed by it. He also said both see the great opportunities before Israel in the field of peace and its expansion and in other fields. Mr. Netanyahu was one of the first world leaders to congratulate Trump on his election win, writing on social media, "Your historic return to the White House offers a new beginning for America and a powerful recommitment to the great alliance between Israel and America. This is a huge victory." But some analysts say relations between the two is often described as unpredictable as it is complex, and worry not much will change in the Israeli war in Gaza and in Lebanon.
אבל יש הבדל אחד גדול בין הלילה ההוא לימינו אנו. היום יש לנו מדינה משלנו.
The South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, on the other hand, has called for government and industry talks to prepare for Donald Trump's return to the U.S. presidency. Yoon called for launching finance, trade and industry consultations at an emergency meeting with his economic and security aides. Trump has pledged to impose tariffs as much as 60% on China and a universal 10% tariff on imports from all countries. China and the U.S. are South Korea's top two trading partners because of its focus on chips, cars and petrochemicals.
또 시장에 어떤 영향을 주는지 직접 좀 대화를 많이 해주길 바랍니다.
Back in Europe, the EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, has reassured Ukraine of Europe's unwavering support. The EU has already provided 122 billion euros in military and financial support to Ukraine and trained about 60,000 Ukrainian soldiers. The bloc aims to reach 75,000 by the end of the winter. Support from Western allies has been key to Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russia's much larger and better equipped enemy. Donald Trump has said he could easily end the Ukraine war, but has not said how.
For you to continue defending yourself against Russian aggression.
The United Nations has also been planning for Trump's return and the cuts to U.S. funding and engagements with the world body that are likely to come with Trump's second term as president. Trump has offered few specifics about foreign policy in his second term, but supporters say the force of his personality and his peace through strength approach will help bend foreign leaders to his will. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres recently spoke on the expectations from another Trump presidency.
We are ready to deal with any president of any country that is a member state of the United Nations. And of course, it's not for us to decide who is going to rule the United States. We recognize the United States is a fundamental partner of the UN, but obviously we are ready to work in all circumstances in defense of the values of the Charter and of the values of the UN.
Finally, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte congratulated Trump on his victory hours after results showed he was winning the presidential poll. He posted on X, "I just congratulated Donald Trump on his election as President of the United States. His leadership will again be key to keeping our alliance strong."
Of NATO, but also to the United States.
And soon to be 47th President of the United States of America.
Trump and Kamala Harris have, during their campaigns, offered significantly different approaches on how to handle Ukraine and NATO. The president-elect has vowed to end the war in Ukraine, but his apparent friendship with Russian President Vladimir Putin has also raised eyebrows across the political spectrum. Trump on Saturday said he would encourage Russia to do whatever it wants to any NATO member country that does not meet spending guidelines on defense, in a stunning admission he would not abide by the collective defense clause at the heart of the alliance if re-elected.
Let's turn to the UK now. And Foreign Secretary David Lammy was in Nigeria. About the same time of the US election, Mr. Lammy paid a courtesy call on Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the State House Marina. He was accompanied by the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery. It was his first trip to the country and one in which he intended to discuss the UK's new approach to Africa. Mr. Lammy said Lagos became the first stop in his Africa tour, given the centuries-old relationship between the two countries. Also that the socio-cultural and economic relationship between both countries is second to none.
What we have as a clear advantage in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, is the sheer number of the young, dynamic population that we see, and they're yearning, for new opportunities globally. And so the government is creating, that atmosphere or that opportunity for them in terms of training, skills development, and the development plan that we see is to make Lagos, a human capital, a human development capital of the world, where businesses can see 10, 20 years from today, you need special skills in certain areas. Come to Lagos, you will have, the right set of people that can even actually be working from here in any part of the world. So these are some of the things that we see as a growth plan for us. But today, like you mentioned, there are a few things that we're doing, with our business partners in the UK. You've mentioned, the train rolling stock that we have. We've got a class 43 trains, running on the red line, and we're very happy. They're moving passengers. The GWR trains on the red line that we just launched formally about a month and a half ago is the longest corridor right now. And when it goes into full commercial activity in terms of passenger traffic, it's supposed to be moving about 500,000 people per day. I want you to leave, with the assurance, that the environment will continue to be a lot more attractive, to the businesses that are still sitting on the fence. Should we not? This is the time. This is the moment, and I would believe that the future, even with global disruption, the future, looks better for us, and we want to assure you that go back home with that level of confidence that Lagos is placed to be, and by extension, Nigeria.
The people-to-people links between the United Kingdom and Nigeria are second to none. Yeah. There will be many families here in Lagos with relatives and family in London and across the UK. Business, remittances, finance, money, growth are part of our mutual DNA. But there is more that we can do. I'm very pleased that my dear friend Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, is working so closely with Lagos, and we see Transport for London also working in partnership with you over this next horizon and this next period particularly. But I am here to say that the UK is very much open for business. We're open for business with our old friends, and Lagos represents a very old friendship. So that there are win-wins for our peoples and our communities and for our societies. It's wonderful to be back in Nigeria, and certainly to make Nigeria and Lagos the first African country to visit as the new UK for us.
He continued his trip to Abuja, where he met with President Bola Tinubu, who said that Nigeria is totally committed to actualizing upgraded partnership agreements with the UK in areas that directly impact citizens' livelihoods, such as arts, culture, trade, and security. The president urged the UK to strengthen relations with Africa by showing more interest in some of the conflicts affecting countries such as the Republic of Sudan, particularly over humanitarian issues. While he was in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, the UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy had a chat with my colleague Maokwe Ogun Yusuf on why he made Nigeria the first stop of his Africa visit. He also discussed energy transitions, security issues, and others.
A phone call we understand that our president made with the Prime Minister Keir Starmer in October. Would you like to tell us what you're hoping to consolidate on with this visit?
Oh, look, it's been very important for Nigeria to be my first visit to the continent of Africa.
120 days or so into office, we've prioritised growth as our central mission. We've prioritised the race for clean energy as our second mission. And here in Nigeria, the opportunities for partnership and growth are immense. Obviously, we have a very strong people-to-people relationship, many businesses working across our two countries. So it's wonderful to be here, to build on that, and to be very, very clear that over the coming years and months, we see a key partnership between our two countries.
Well, you have spoken about clean energy. You mentioned that just a moment ago. And I don't know how the United Kingdom is planning to support Nigeria's transition as well into that particular area to provide energy for both your country and ours.
Well, look, I know that here in Nigeria, there will be many people watching who've really struggled with energy over this last period, are coping with blackouts and little or no energy. In the UK, we've got good expertise, and I have come on this trip with some UK business that are very good at smart meters and clean energy and supporting changes to the grid. But we also have the potential to work with solar, hydropower, the whole range of renewables, offshore, onshore, to assist in that transition that much of the world is making and ensure that those who've been excluded from energy in the past can get access today.
Well, I know usually when we're talking about energy, oil is also one of the things that is also in the mix. Do you see a situation where Nigeria's supply of crude oil, if at all, to the United Kingdom, is now less required than it used to be?
Well, we in the UK, of course, are transitioning away from fossil fuels. We are ending the licenses that were granted in the North Sea for oil, and the world is moving in that direction. Next week, many of us will gather at COP29 as we make that transition. For countries like Nigeria, clearly that will take some considerable time. And we should, of course, remember that Nigeria is the kind of country that has looked at Western powers who exploited those fossil fuels for many, many years. So I recognise that this is a balanced debate. It's right for the government of Nigeria to determine its transition. But we are here to partner, to help, to listen. We're absolutely not here to lecture.
Okay, and quickly, certainly there's no way we can talk about your visit to Nigeria without mentioning security, and we've had long-term partnerships. The UK has been very supportive in the area of security. How do you think that this is going to be strengthened, especially with your visit here to Nigeria?
Well, I have signed a new strategic partnership between our two governments. One of the central pillars of that is security and defence. We are meeting at challenging, difficult geopolitical times. All of us worried about the unfolding disaster in Sudan, about the real security challenges that exist in the Sahel. It's been important for me to speak to the Nigerian Foreign Minister. I will speak to the President today about those challenges and about Nigeria's very, very important regional role. And of course, we will remain in close dialogue, supporting where we can.
So how do you see the UK's relationship with Nigeria evolving under your leadership?
Our relationship goes from strength to strength. The dynamism of particularly young people here in Nigeria is immense. The huge growth that we're seeing in technology here in Nigeria. People are raising with me that they want access to finance. Of course, we have the City of London, second to none in its ability to provide that access to finance. And so across a range of fronts, technology, climate finance, energy, security, there's so much that our countries can do together in partnership. I'm excited about the future, and that's why I've made Nigeria my first stop on this trip to Africa, and I think that it's indicative of the partnership that we can strike over the years ahead.
Thank you so much, Foreign Secretary David Lammy, for this interview, and we wish you very well in your future travels.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Finally on the program, the British Council is 90 years this year, having been founded in 1934. The executive non-departmental public body is a charity governed by a royal charter. The organization has been in Nigeria for 80 years now, supporting peace and prosperity by building connections, understanding and trust between Nigerians and Britons. It celebrated this landmark anniversary in Lagos.
The British Council office on Thompson Avenue, Ikoyi, Lagos, bustling with activity more than usual as it welcomes guests, partners and employees to the celebration of its 80th anniversary in Nigeria. Guests take pictures with the British Council props on the grounds as visual artist Hanifa Adam live paints portraits of Nigerian youths portraying the theme for the celebration, amplifying voices of the future. Inside the hall is a formal welcome by the acting country director of the British Council, Chilufia Bessa, and an opening address by the deputy head of mission, FCDO, Simon Field.
Amplifying the voices of the future is especially fitting for our 80th anniversary in Nigeria for several reasons. But the most important of which is Nigeria has one of the youngest populations in the world, with nearly 70% of its population under the age of 30. By adopting this theme, we're indicating our commitment to empowering young people who are Nigeria's future leaders, creators, and innovators.
The creative industry, I'm sure we can all agree, has been identified as one of Nigeria's fastest growing sectors, and one of the fastest growing sectors globally. In the creative sector, the British Council has worked with hundreds of Nigerian artists and enabled collaboration with their British counterparts, helping to showcase Nigerian creativity across a global stage.
Years of groundbreaking discoveries and insights.
Poets Kehinde Adolo and King David Ayo Loto give special renditions, highlighting the British Council's work in Nigeria.
If you're going to make money from a thing, you have to have stake.
Two fireside chats laden with business patrons and government officials discuss financial freedom in the present economy and how they overcame challenges in finding their purpose.
You collaborations, look at how you're all here, take pictures, put it up. Let that sign show. I'm telling you, it just hypes you up. And it has helped us, both financially and also helped us as a company to always want to maintain the standards, the quality, integrity, because we don't want to fall British Council's hand.
Yeah. You talk about access to capital, access to resources. Quite a lot of upcoming have forgotten anything about regulation. And regulations can easily kill you down.
Founded in 1934, the British Council is governed by a royal charter. It works in over 100 countries, promoting a wider knowledge of the United Kingdom and the English language, and encouraging cultural, scientific, technological, and educational cooperation with the United Kingdom.
This is where we end the program this week. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and comments. The addresses to reach me on are on your screen, but if you prefer, drop a comment in the comment section below this video on YouTube. I'm Amarachi Ubani. I'll see you next time.